On the Fringe with Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I think the vote's one of the most important things we've got going on right now. We're having major issues getting that under control. We're having extreme fighting coming from states to let us clean voter rolls. But yet we're worried about a lot of other things right now. Again, I'm not going to try to put worry into people's minds or concern into people's minds. But what I do find interesting is really the most immediate problem we have is making sure that vote we have next year is actually secure. Again, a lot of people are like, but Dan, Epstein, and for the children, well, Epstein's not hurting anybody anymore, right? The people maybe are sort of through other avenues, but that's not going to come out through Epstein either, right? So again, I'm all for this information coming out. It's going to go to Trump's desk today to sign. Maybe it's already been signed at this point. Who knows? I should, but I didn't see it pop up, so I don't know. A lot of things happen during the time I record. That's one thing. So again, a lot happening. I've got a huge amount of news, and the world is heating up, folks. We're getting closer and closer to something big. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with crypto right now too, which is very strange. I mean, I'm not going to pretend to fully understand it, but it is, strange. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about that too. I wanted to start off here. The reason everything online feels so extreme in 2025. Platforms reward outrage and punish neutrality, which is backed up by Grok's own admission. A calm, factual post, people read it in 3 seconds and scroll. An outrage post, 20-minute reply wars, algorithm jackpot. I run a mostly no-spin news account and ask at Grok straight up why neutral content stays buried. Its answers was ice cold. Engagement is the only god that gets worshipped, Grok admitted. It went on to say, but here's the harsh reality in late 2025. X's algorithm is no longer neutral ground. It is aggressively optimized for dwell time and reply volume. Neutral, balanced, unbiased, reads to the algorithm exactly the same as boring, low emotion. Controversial, emotional, and interactive content wins by design, not because Elon likes it that way, he doesn't control the fine details anymore, but because that's what maximizes ad revenue. The result? Influencers push harder and harder takes for clout, driving the country further apart. The system pays them to reach and money to do it, exactly like cable news did 20 years ago. Elon Musk bought this place to fix discourse, but the incentives still reward tearing us apart. It's not tearing us apart, so I'm going to say I disagree very heavily with their take. The algorithm is the algorithm. People responding to the algorithm is what is happening. That's the problem. Not that there is an algorithm, because then TikTok will do it, and everybody will go to TikTok because it'll generate outrage there. You have to stay competitive. So no offense, Doc Connecting Anand, you're a wonderful person, but at the same time, you are completely wrong on this. This is an example of what's happening to society. This is what is happening to people. People are requiring this. They're becoming addicted to this. Social media has made us addicted. Now, I wouldn't say us, counting myself, because this doesn't work for me. Every once in a while, YouTube will catch me, but I catch it usually pretty quickly, and I stop it. And I'll actually literally close it, or I'll just switch over to something totally different, start watching camping videos or something just to mess with it, or find the dog videos, dog and cat videos. Those will put tears in my eyes in good ways. It makes me feel lovely inside. It's us that allows this to happen. It's not X's fault. It's us as individuals. Maybe you. I don't know. I don't know if it affects you. But if you're the one that finds yourself going to that emotionally more engaging stuff every time, yeah, you're being programmed. That's exactly what that is. That's modern day MK Ultra. Choose to do with that as you will. It is your choice. Again, this is what they're doing to us. If you allow it to happen, you will get screwed. Period. And if you're one of the content creators and you're constantly chasing views and likes and all that, you're going to fall into this very same, the whole, don't stare into the abyss for the abyss becomes you. Don't stare at the monster for you'll become the monster. I'm totally jacking up Nietzsche's quote, but close enough, right? We become that thing which we despise because we're trying so hard to reach out the people that won't watch us otherwise. You see, some of us just keep doing their program the way it is and know that some people are going to eventually break out of this programming and they're going to want somebody that's not trying to manipulate them. And it will be rewarded and enjoyed and hopefully useful. Chicago, wonderful city that it is, it doesn't need any federal help. Nope. Woman was set ablaze on a train in Chicago. She is in critical condition. She was very, very much hurt. Very, very much hurt. Some old crazy-ass 45-year-old male assailant, who got away, by the way, sprayed some sort of thing on her and then lit her on fire, and he was gone. And she fortunately was put out on the platform, but she's very severely burned. Burn is one of the worst possible things that you can go through and heal from if you live through it. I mean, it's quite possibly one of the worst things to live through. Quite possibly. It's horrible. Gut-wrenching video shows a mom and children attacked by a mob of kids outside a Chicago school.
Is heartbreaking to see. The 33-year-old mother says she was walking home with her young son when they were attacked by a group of kids. Now, we want to warn you, it is difficult to watch, and we have blurred and frozen the video before things escalate. Chicago police are now investigating after the woman named Korshonda and her son, 9 years old, were viciously attacked near 106th and Bensley. That's just a couple blocks away from Orville Bright Elementary School, where the boy is a student. It happened yesterday shortly after dismissal. A group of kids approached them and started punching and kicking the victims.
I'm trying to get justice for my son. I'm thankful for everybody that came out here today to support me.
The video is a symptom of something that's been going on for a long time. We haven't held these kids accountable. We haven't held parents accountable for the violent actions that their children are doing and that they're aware of.
That was State Senator Willie Preston, who, along with other community members, rallied outside the school today with the boys' parents to call for justice. Korshonda says her son has been bullied at Bright and claims the administration isn't doing enough to protect him. We reached out to Chicago Public Schools about the incident, and a spokesperson tells us in part, "We are horrified by the attack on this family, and we are working collaboratively with city departments and agencies to provide support to the victims. CPS is coordinating closely with the mayor's office, CPD, CHA, and other city departments to provide additional support to the family." Now, that mother and son were taken to the hospital last night where they received treatment. For now, reporting live outside of CPD headquarters.
It's just insanity. I mean, it's absolute insanity, right? This is the world that we're currently living in. Dad, a little insult to injury, because why wouldn't I? New York City's socialist Zohran Mamdani just endorsed his hand-picked replacement for the New York State Assembly, and it's wild. Meet Aber Kawa. She moved to the United States literally last year. She holds a master's degree in Islamic liberation theology, and she's a hardcore Palestinian activist. That's right, folks. A guy who wants to defund the police and once called to globalize the intifada, is now trying to install a fresh, off-the-planet activist with a degree in anti-Western ideology into the New York legislature. This isn't immigration. This is infiltration. If someone can arrive in America in 2024, get a radical degree, and be fast-tracked into state government by 2025, we have officially lost the plot. Not necessarily, but people are being very hyperbolic. I mean, this is the near-death experience that we've been talking about. We are about to go over the falls unless we all wake up. Now, again, I'm talking to the choir to a large extent. You guys got to keep singing your beautiful music, keep making your ripples. But ultimately, this is panic. And it should be. That's what needs to happen for everybody right now. So, time to pass laws. If you hate America, you don't get to run for America. I agree with that. We agree we need to ban a ban on anti-American activists holding public office. I mean, I think if you hate this country and you're running for office, you shouldn't be allowed to. Like, if you hate this country, you're obviously not going to try to help anything. We are being attacked from within. Now, the problem is we really need to prove that and make that obvious to normies, if you will. So it is what it is. This is kind of interesting because New York City's budget is about the same as the entire state of Florida. Here's Rudy Giuliani talking about it, and he would know.
All you have to do is look at the budget of New York and compare it to the budget of Florida, and you realize New York is stealing left and right. The budget of the city of New York is equivalent to the budget of the entire state of Florida. They're the same. Sometimes New York is higher. Florida has 22 million people. New York has 8.5 million people. Plus, New York gets the help of New York State as well as the federal government. New York State has a budget that is over 2 times Florida's. Florida has 22 million people. New York State has 18.5 million. What's that extra half beyond Florida for? A more efficient government? Hardly. A cleaner city or state? Ever take a look at upstate New York? What's happened to it? Happier citizens? I don't know. People are leaving New York in numbers that are absurd, only to be equaled by New Jersey and California. People are coming to Florida and you can't stop them. So for half the amount of money, Florida is having 50 times more success. So what's happening to that money? Why would the same thing cost 3 times more for New York buying it than Florida? I wonder why. Don't wonder too long.
Now, I don't know how New York works, but I know how California works. And there's literally 4 families in California that have been running this state, own huge amounts of this state, and have controlled this state for way over 100 years. Way over. In fact, I'd bet money they were hugely directly involved with building of Catalina Island and everything that's out there, which is a heck of a lot of fun. But that was built just so a bunch of rich people could go out there and gamble at the casino, which has got the largest, or did anyways, the largest dance floor in, I think, the Western Hemisphere at one point. Certainly in the United States for a very long time. It might not be the case anymore. It's huge. It's really cool. It's the upstairs part of that casino. If you've ever seen, just look for pictures of Catalina, and you'll see that casino building. At the very upper part of that, and it's just a giant-ass dance floor. It's freaking super cool. Fox News is talking about New York City Mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani keeping Jessica Tisch as the New York Police Department commissioner. Maybe DEI hire. It's possible. Sure. But this is interesting. So New York City judge demands maximum sentence for aspiring rapper accused of cat sacrifice in online satanic ritual. Now, this dude killed a cat. Look, I love animals, all right? I love animals probably more than people, to be honest with you. In fact, I definitely do. Killing a cat, this guy, they want to lock him up forever. Okay, totally cool. That makes sense. Kill a person in New York, you're out on bail. Rob heavily from somebody, and you're out on bail immediately. Assault somebody, you're out on bail. Kill a cat and fucking lock you up, man. Like, again, I like animals more than people, so I just find it very funny that they don't give a crap about people at all, or property. I mean, again, New York City is being run by communists, and it's just obvious now because a communist, an actual self-proclaimed communist, was elected. Hence, I talk about our vote. Everybody's forgetting. I can't believe you guys keep electing people like that in California. I can't believe they elected that in New York City. They didn't. That's what you're failing to see. They control the vote. And so long as they control the vote, communists everywhere. We must control the vote. I don't mean control who wins or the outcome. I mean make sure it's paper ballots and it can't be cheated and they can't mail in thousands of extra ballots. Our vote is the most important thing we have right now, and we've got to fix it. Now, there's repercussions of it all over. Tina Peters we'll talk about, but that's a great example. Thank God she was one of the people that demonstrated what happens. We should certainly hope to get her out. I know people are screaming about Trump to do something about it. How many people are out there protesting in Colorado, out in front of the jail or something? I mean, again, it's cold as hell probably, at least getting there. And God, if you go there, take some chapstick. Oh my God, my lips get chapped literally in like a day. It's like weird how fast it happens. All said. Yeah, we're in a world of hurt. All right, a whole lot of stuff with Epstein. All right, so everybody in the house, every single person in the house except Clay Higgins. He was the one individual who voted no on the Epstein files. He said it sets a funny precedent. They're worried about innocent people being exposed. Again, I'm not going to beat this guy up too much. Most of the time, Higgins is on the right side of things, and It's not like we needed his vote, and it wasn't anything weird, and he's doing it for his own weird way. Again, would I be that kind to if it was Marjorie Taylor Greene was the one person? No, I would have beat the shit out of her. But she's done multiple things wrong, right? That's the only difference. Like, I allowed her so many times. There was a number of times. Any of you guys that have followed me any length of time, she's pissed me off a number of times, and I've come back and forgiven her, but not anymore. No, it's done. It's just kind of like a couple of members of my family. So I'm just done. I'm done having to play these games. I'm just done with it. It's stupid. Some relationships just don't seem like they're going to get worked out. So, Clay, I hope this is just a weird thing that you're going through. Maybe some swamp gas got into your brain or something. Who knows, right? Ate some bad alligator. Yeah, it happens. Trump expected to sign a bill releasing the Epstein files today, which is dated today. Cool, the 19th. So, yeah. Probably one of the reasons certain websites don't like to play my videos is I actually document what day it is. Especially one of them in particular loves playing old ones. They just put out a Cliff High video. Made it seem like it was new. And it was back before the power outage in Spain. Do you guys remember that? It was before that happened, or at least right when it happened. And they were trying to run it like it was a brand new video. I'm like, you guys are so dishonest. That is so disgusting. Trump expects to sign a bill, and you'll know you're watching it because you're watching a Cliff High video that you can't really hear him very well. And the chick that's with him, who's pretty awesome, I've never heard of her before, but she does readings, and it's not that Janine chick or whatever. It's a different chick that does card tarot readings. And she actually uses the Thoth deck, or the Thoth deck, as some say, which is, I think, super cool, too, because I'm very affiliated with Thoth as well. It's definitely one of the people that I have felt close to. And some people will say that's a bad thing. I'll go ahead. You can go look it up and all that. It's fine. You can believe whatever you want about it. But this is someone that I've definitely worked with in my journeys. Trump says Dem mega donor Reid Hoffman should be investigated, as everybody's been saying for years. Here's him talking about it.
You're a terrible person and a terrible reporter. As far as the Epstein files is, I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert. And I guess I turned out to be right. But you know who does have? Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, who ran Harvard, was with him every single night, every single weekend. They lived together. They went to his island many times. I never did. Andrew Weissman, I hear. All these guys were friends of his. You don't even talk about those people. You just keep going on the Epstein files. And what the Epstein is a Democrat hoax to try and get me not to be able to talk about the $21 trillion that I talked about today. It's a hoax. Now, I just got a little report, and I put it in my pocket, of all the money that he's given to Democrats. He gave me none, zero, no money to me. But he gave money to Democrats. And people are wise to your hoax. And ABC's, your company, your crappy company, is one of the perpetrators. And I'll tell you something.
So why not just sign it now?
I think the license should be taken away from ABC because your news is so fake and it's so wrong. And we have a great commissioner, the chairman, who should look at that, because I think when you come in and when you're 97% negative to Trump, and then Trump wins the election in a landslide, that means obviously your news is not credible, and you're not credible as a reporter. So I've answered your question. You should go and look at the Democrats who received money from Epstein, who spent their time. Larry Summers was with him all the time. That creep, the fund guy, was with him all the time. What's his name?
Reid Hoffman.
Who? Reid Hoffman. I don't know Reid Hoffman, but I know he spends a lot of money on the radical left. Reid Hoffman, in my opinion, should be under investigation. He's a sleazebag. And those are the people, but they don't get any press, they don't get any news, and you're not after the radical left because you're a radical left network. But I think the way you ask a question with the anger and the meanness is terrible. You ought to go back and learn how to be a reporter. No more questions from you. Who else has a question?
No soup for you, man. Trump would press Nazi on her, huh? Larry Summers resigns from OpenAI board. Harvard launches an investigation after these Epstein revelations came forward. Like Harvard didn't know about that beforehand. Please. This is going to blow up in the Democrats' face, and every one of us is going to enjoy the hell out of it. Leading fundraising group for Democrats solicited Epstein years after he pled guilty in Florida. I don't think it's pleaded guilty. Is that correct grammar? Pleaded? Isn't it pled? If you're doing past tense, plead? Whatever. Forever plaid. Anyway, he was guilty in Florida. People were still trying to get money from him. Democrats, anyways. And one or two Republicans, probably. We'll see those people come out. This is really the list. This is, and again, a lot of people, we'll get there in a second. Plaskett talks about texting with Epstein. She says you got to get information from people where you can. So that means the Democrats are willing to go to a criminal and see, what do you think, criminal, about this individual we hate? Really, you're going to go to a criminal because they're typically the most trustworthy sources. You know, criminals and everything are always known to be so honest, right? When was the last time you met a criminal that was a liar? Right? Probably never. Probably never. It's like meeting a Mormon that's not smiling. It's strange. Never happens. Never see it. It's against the law, I think. Democrat Rep. Jamie Raskin, he defends Virgin Islands delegate Epstein text. Where's the ethical transgression? Of course, Raskin. Of course he's jumping to their rescue. Because, again, they work with criminals. How much of the nonsense from the J6 that he was a part of as well, matey? How much of that was deleted? Why? Because they didn't want anybody else to see it. Why? If it stood on its own, you wouldn't need to hide it. Just like all the information that Cash has been able to find in burn bags. Makes sense. So they tried to censure her, Plaskett, who again is a Virgin Island rep, whatever. But Plaskett, they tried to censure, and it didn't pass. A few Republicans went across the other side. I think 3 Republicans voted the other side. A couple Republicans didn't vote, whatever the case was. There's a few of them. 6 of them, I guess. Okay, 3 and 3 maybe. So 6 Republicans weren't involved in this in the correct kind of way, I guess. Just to remind everyone, a censure is that's it. That's it. Doesn't cost you any money. Doesn't get you in trouble. Doesn't get you kicked out of a committee. Nothing. So whatever. There's another guy that they're trying to censure too. That's a Republican. Macy's trying to put that on. I think I've got that story coming up here in a second. This is a guy that supposedly has a restraining order from his girlfriend. I don't know if he's actually been convicted of anything. I'm reasonably sure he hasn't, but Macy's been raped, and so she's a bit super sensitive about it, and so she's one that's really quick to kind of go down some paths. Now, again, I like people to get their day in court. I know a lot of men that have been accused of things that aren't necessarily true, and you know their lives can get turned upside down and in some cases ruined just because of an accusation. Unfortunately, this is a power some ladies have over men. It's just the way it is. So again, this is it's a complex issue. And I'd personally always want to see the individual get their day in court. I certainly don't just believe. That's for sure. I don't. Unfortunately, there's too many liars that have corrupted the pool. So it needs to be, unfortunately. And I know there's cases where dudes are dicks, for sure. I know plenty of times with people. So I get it. It's a complex issue, though, unfortunately. Rep. James Comer, Democrats like Jamie Raskin talk nonstop about justice for Epstein victims, yet turn a blind eye when one of their own is caught working with Epstein during a congressional hearing. What kind of message does that send to survivors? Which is, they're saying, what it's all about. It's disgusting. Survivors deserve better, right? Survivors, the guy that was putting you in the position of being a survivor, Jeffrey, was donating to Democrats, because they care so much about survivors. So they were taking money from the dude that created them. And I don't mean that city, or however that stupid song goes. I can't imitate it. It was pretty cool, though, that little whistly sound at the beginning of Survivor. You guys remember that? Anyway, first, I think, reality show, which was kind of stupid in hindsight. I was lucky I was on radio at the time. I played the hell out of that. I had that little snippet of music. We used that all over the place. It was great. Lee Zeldin posted this. He says, yes, Crockett. Well, I guess we should start with Crockett first. I always want to say Tubbs. It cracks me up. Folks who also took money from somebody named Jeffrey Epstein, as I had my team digging in very quickly, Mitt Romney, the NRCC, Lee Zeldin, George Bush, McCain, Palin. Now what's funny is Lee Zeldin's like, yes, Crockett, a physician named Dr. Jeffrey Epstein, who is a totally different person than the other Jeffrey Epstein, donated to a prior campaign of mine. So, as Trump always says, Crockett's low IQ. There's proof. Sometimes they say, why open your mouth and prove when you could stay quiet and people would still wonder if you're stupid, right? Beautiful. I kind of said that phrase backwards, but still fun that way. James Comer vows to give Clintons the Bannon treatment if they defy subpoenas, because they have so far. And so he's like, all right, well, we'll come after you if we have to. We'll arrest your punk asses. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if Hillary and Bill are abroad for a while. We'll see what happens. Or Bill's with his broad. Just, all right, whatever. She did not age well. I will say young Hillary was, I mean, if I was drunk enough, I'd be pissed when I woke up next to her. But now, oh, God. Ooh, Joel. Ooh. Ask her to look over the cliff. Hey, honey, what's that? Looks like something crazy over the cliff. Woof! Oh my God! Kidding, I would never do that. Comer subpoenas J.P. Morgan, Deutsche Bank, and Epstein financial records. So we're going to get some more information. It's so funny. I thought that was that Dotson word, that Dauschhound, or whatever, however it's spelled. I don't even think I could ever come close to spelling it right. The German words are so funny. They're so funny, those little German words. Yeah, so Comer's going after it. We're going to find out. Again, more information. This is going to open up the whole, you guys wanted the files. And I've been saying I think Trump's been doing this on purpose. And again, we'll find out. There's stuff that's involved in investigations, which is pissing people off. We'll talk about it. You'll probably be mad at me. That's cool. Whatever. It's fun. It's always fun nowadays. House Oversight Chair and James Comer just exposed Hakeem Jeffries on the House floor for soliciting a meeting and donations for Jeffrey Epstein, even after Epstein was a convicted sex predator. This Epstein thing it's backfiring badly on him. So Hakeem Jeffries was asked to get Jeffrey Epstein a moment to spend with Obama. I think they had lunch or something, some 5 discussions or 5 times or whatever the case was, but it happened. Hakeem Jeffries was specifically involved with that process. Interesting. A convicted criminal already. Epstein Files bill that Attorney General Pam Bondi is putting out. The Epstein File bill grants her the authority to withhold or redact any material that could endanger national security or jeopardize an active federal investigation. Now, I'd already seen people that generally do good work, and in this case, I find that they're actually not doing good work, in my opinion. And I don't know if it's on purpose or if they're just not intelligent people, and that's very possible. I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not calling anyone out. But they said, I can't think of one case where national security would be a reason. First off, just because you can't think of one, and then everybody that reads your thing is going to go, I can't think of one either, because nobody likes to think. But just because you can't think of one doesn't necessarily mean there's not one. And secondly, there's the giant or in between them. Or jeopardize an active federal investigation. They did not spend any time really focusing on that piece. First, national security. I can't possibly think. I can think of a fucking bunch. What if we found out that a crap ton of politicians, current politicians, have been involved in this? What if we find out a crap ton of those people have gotten a whole bunch of money from the situation? Now, a lot of you guys were like, friggin' throw them out of office, right? Yeah, that's a national security problem. You asked, I'm telling. If half of Congress got fired, we would be in a constitutional crisis. We would be extraordinarily weak. And certainly for people that are scared of Trump, Trump would have to be a total dictator because we'd have no other option. It'd be the only branch of our government that's, well, maybe the courts, but that Congress would be crushed. That would make us weaker as a country. Period. End of story. Would. Period. I don't care what anyone says. National security. And that can spin in a lot of ways. How many different companies are potentially involved in this, CEOs? How many different individuals in other countries, which would be a national security issue? How do we know about some of these things? Obviously, spying was happening. National security. I can think of a bunch of stuff. So people that don't have any creativity or don't, have intelligence, no offense if it fits, but there's a lot of reasons national security could be involved. There's certainly victims. Don't need their names if they're still alive and haven't written books. I mean, it's not just because she was dead, but also because she wrote a book. If she was alive and wrote the book, I think her name should pop out. She already talked about it. But if you're not, you shouldn't have your name blasted all over the place. That's not cool. And that's kind of what the Democrats are trying to do. That's what they typically do. They slime the individual, the whistleblower. They slime the individual that's making the accusation. We didn't trust Monica Lewinsky, did we? Even though she had a stained dress. Bill Clinton's, depends what is. Really, Bill. Jeffrey Epstein pursued a plan to fund Israel's cyber weapons firm with money raised from the storied Swiss banking family, the Rothschilds Group. National security. Years-long private discussions focused on using Rothschild as a vehicle to create a donor-advised venture capital fund intended to fund the growth of offensive cyber startups linked to Israel intelligence. Now, this goes a few ways. Of course, a lot of people thought Epstein was, they're tied into Israel. There's the Israel connection. Sure, probably. I still would say it's the intelligence agencies. I don't think Mossad worked alone. I think the CIA and Mossad and MI6 are all, having butt ramming parties together, right? Bring your own lube. BYOL. So, yeah. Ehud Barak, by the way, national security issue, former Israeli prime minister, supposedly directly involved with this dude. I wonder how many times Ehud Barak went to the island. Again, we've got other governments that we've got relationships with that are important not to destroy. We can use it over and hold it over their head for sure. And maybe that's why so many people are being kind with Trump and actually working with this tariff stuff. National security. I can think of a bunch of reasons. Not to mention they're probably involved in investigations, which is the catch-all anyways. So again, not everything's coming out. Nancy Mace moves to force the vote on censuring Corey Mills. He's a Republican. This is the guy that, again, I don't know all the details, and I certainly don't think he's been convicted in courts. A lady put a restraining order, but you can get one of those without anything. That doesn't mean anything. You don't need, there's no level of proof to get a restraining order on somebody, in most states anyways. No level of proof. Zero level of proof to get a restraining order. You might not even know you have one against you with someone. You just happen to show up someplace and there they are and you're like, hey, what's up? What's up, Cindy? And she's like, and she goes running out. You suddenly cops show up and you're like, what happened? I barely know her. I haven't seen her for years. Happens. Totally happens. Again, he might be guilty. This dude might be a total douchehole. He's in Congress. There's a strong chance it's true. Nancy Mace might be just blowing this the hell out of proportion. Very possible. She's a victim. She kind of gets freaked out about shit. Who knows? I'm not trying to pass judgment on anybody. I think Nancy Mace is hot. I'll give her that. She's always I'll listen to her for a moment or two. All right, what do you have to say, sweetheart? It's, okay, yeah, sure. Can I see your boobs? No? All right, thought I'd ask. Chinese firm bought insurer for CIA agents as part of a $1 trillion spending spree. No, literally. The company that provided insurance benefits to the CIA and FBI agents was a Chinese company that responded to Beijing, which would be a company that has their real names, social security numbers, where they live, any health issues of anybody working at the CIA or FBI. Yeah, that's not a problem at all, right? Right? No, that's cool. Now, this is probably going to piss you off, and it should. Was COVID always a CIA plot? Probably. Newly released emails. The United States intelligence community, led by the CIA and the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, held regular meetings with Dr. Ralph Baric, one of America's leading coronavirus experts, since at least 2015. Senator Ron Paul dug into this. I'm not going to really give him any credit because he's lost it all from me, so whatever. He's the one behind it. It makes you guys want to applaud and stand up. Cool. Good for you. Baric has been accused of engineering the COVID-19 virus in his lab at the University of North Carolina. Wonder how close that is to Charlotte. But he has never, and I might be wrong on that, I'm just wondering for a friend. But he has never had to testify about his role in the pandemic, despite his well-documented collaboration with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The newly released emails reveals that the CIA hoped to discuss coronavirus evolution and possible natural human adaptation with Barrick, meaning how can we make this evolve in such a way that it looks natural? Now let's just jump down to some of the key facts here of this particular story. 2015, before Trump was in office, you know, the whole Hillary Clinton scandal and all that was happening, right? The Russia, all that was being pumped up in 2015. The intelligence community in 2015, the intelligence community held quarterly meetings with Dr. Ralph Barrick and discussed possible human adaptation to coronavirus evolution. 2019-2020, the CIA had a spy working at the Wuhan Institute of Virology doing both offensive and defensive work with pathogens, according to Seymour Hersh. That asset reports in early 2020 that there was a laboratory accident that resulted in the infection of a researcher. Wonder who was behind that. March 18, 2020, the Department of Homeland Security replaced Health and Human Services as the lead federal agency responding to COVID, as explained in depth in Debbie Lerman's The Deep State Goes Viral. Spring 2020, the CIA offered bribes to scientists to bury their findings, refuting the proximal origin theory advanced by Dr. Anthony Fauci, according to a whistleblower. The House Oversight Committee explains, according to the whistleblower, at the end of its review, 6 of the 7 members of the team believed the intelligence and science were sufficient to make a low-confidence assessment that COVID-19 originated from a laboratory in Wuhan, China. Then, however, the 6 members were given a significant monetary incentive to change their position. 2020, Dr. Fauci began holding secret meetings at CIA headquarters without a record of entry in order to influence its COVID-19 origins investigation, according to a whistleblower. He knew what was going on, he was covering his ass, and he was trying to do it with the intel community, the whistleblower told Congress. 2021, scientists in the Department of Defense compiled significant evidence suggesting COVID emerged from a lab leak, but President Biden's Director of National Intelligence, Avril Haines, banned them from presenting their evidence or participating in a discussion on the origins of the virus. 2021, CISA, an agency within the Department of Homeland Security, implemented a program known as switchboarding, where officials dictated to big tech platforms what content is permissible or prohibited speech, when many of us got kicked off YouTube and other places. 2022, the Department of Homeland Security announced it will establish a disinformation governance board. The Ministry of Truth is only discontinued when the absurdity of its chief censor, Nina Jackowitz, receives sufficient blowback from the public, when we finally actually turned the corner and we started winning the argument. So it very much looks like the CIA was directly involved with this. Barrick was directly involved with it. The University of North Carolina created this virus, and then Wuhan weaponized it because it's illegal to do that here in the United States. So we used USAID money and paid a non-government organization to work with China in the Wuhan laboratory, probably because of its proximity to a wet market, I would guess. I would assume that's somewhat common in China. Those markets do exist all over the place, but I don't know how many of these facilities they've got close to them. Whatever the case was. Yeah, it's disgusting, right? Beijing jumps back into U.S. soybean market, snaps up 20 cargo loads after an abrupt pause. I think that's a pun there, isn't it? And don't soybeans kind of grow in snaps like peas? I think they do, right? Because when you eat the edamame, it's like a snap, isn't it? Anyway, I thought it was cute. 20 cargo loads, though. So there's a lot of people who are like, see, Trump's not doing anything. I don't know. At least China's helping our farmers out, soybean farmers specifically. And they're going to be buying quite a bit, actually. They're saying this is 20 cargo ships worth. I'd call it a butt ton, but maybe I'm over and under. I'm not sure on that one. I'm not sure if it's a metric butt ton or an American butt ton, because they're different. An incredible victory in the U.S. trade deficit. Check this out. This is some great news.
Trade balance for August, as Andrew pointed out, very many weeks late, comes in at minus $59.6 billion, which means that the balance is a deficit. It's very close to what we were expecting. But when you consider that minus 59 is kind of the new mark to pay attention to, that is the low line of the year. That is the smallest deficit of the year.
Yeah, it's good. We're making progress. That's proof that we're moving in the right direction. Now, is it happening fast enough? Well, no, because we don't even have Congress helping us. So 2008, they're talking about it's happening now. I'm just going to give you the skinny on this one. This talks about how foreclosures started to kick up for many, many, many months. We're seeing foreclosures kick up for many, many, many months. It has been for like a year now. So many are saying that we are very close to this pop or crash or whatever. We don't really know for sure, but we'll see. Ooh, man, Bitcoin dropped below 90. Ouch. Ouch. It was, when I was looking at it just before I started recording, it was sitting just above 90,000, like 90,064 or something like that. Now we're at 89,094. It's almost below 89. It's down $3,600 today, almost 4%. Well, basically 4%. Ethereum's down big time. XRP is down big time. Actually 17 cents, which is a lot. It's almost down to $2 now. Again, Solana, Dogecoin, Cardano, all of them down. Again, not 100% sure why. I don't understand crypto. I don't really want to, but I am fascinated by it, especially because I see a lot of people just talk about how incredible it is, and generally it's the people that are owning it and trying to sell it are always the ones that are very pro and always posting very pro stuff. Some people I think own some. I have some XRP. Like, I don't know. I don't have any Bitcoin. I don't really care. It was too expensive anyway. I'm like, and I had Ron telling me at the time, he's like, dude, you don't even understand. It's just going to it's going to go up like 30 times, And I'm like, all right, I'll get some. It'd be stupid if I missed out on that. It went up 3 times over, but yeah, it's only up a little over 2 times right now. Still. That was a promise not kept, damn it. Ron, come on. Ron, damn you. Whatever. But yeah, interestingly, gold and silver are up. Again, not trying to say I told you so, but yeah, I told you so. Yeah. Silver's up almost 50 cents right now, 51. Again, 50's been that little area. It's just chilling. Gold been chilling heavy at the 4,000 mark. It's at 40.78 right now. It's only up $12. Not much. I think it's been up and down for the day. Yeah, it had a big high earlier and then kind of dropped down and whatever. So, again, we're going through a weird thing right now, guys, and we're getting real, real close to things breaking. If you've got a 401k or you've got an IRA, I want to tell you, you probably want to get out of it or at least invest as much as you can because you're losing buying power because of inflation, and we're going to have a bump on the road. And I know there's a lot of people that think like Nasara Jassara or whatever is going to come in and they're going to like give everybody the money they lost. There's got to be a level of pain to the normal person, or else we're not going to be willing to get rid of the Fed. So I don't think that's going to happen, folks. I think there might be some, but it's going to be pennies on the dollar or, 50 cents on the dollar. It's not going to be the full amount. No, there's no chance in hell. We are so heavily overinflated right now. There's a lot of criminal money in it right now. There's all sorts of crazy stuff. So it's definitely not going to stay where it's at. It'll find a new place where it probably makes sense, and then we'll probably have a market that actually sort of works for us at that point, a little better anyways, maybe, hopefully. We'll see. We'll see how that plays out. Ultimately, I think we're going to go to a no-money world, but that might be years down the road. So I don't know, whatever. We got to get there in the pace we do, because right now it's the incentive for most people to try to do better, and I get that, so I'm not going to argue that at all. Well, while we're still living in that world, we definitely got to play by those rules, right? Like I certainly wouldn't want to do extra work unless I was going to get rewarded for it. I'm still wired that way, so whatever. There's a lot of things I do that it doesn't seem like you're making any money, but you're like, I'm sure I'm doing the right thing, though. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system, tax-free, penalty-free. Move as much of your money as you can sideways into a precious metals IRA. They can do this in 5 to 6 days, and any sale that closes by the end of this month. From me, you're going to get a free 1% silver out of my pocket, literally, to say thank you and to try to help sweeten the deal, because I think this is such a good idea, and I think it's worth it. DRSlikesgold.com. My good friends at Goldco are going to give you up to 10% free silver. Makes mine look like nothing, like I'm not even trying that. They've got more deeper pockets. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. We want to help you move out of their system. Physical precious metals are put into a trust. If they send them to you, that's a payout. You get taxed, you get penalized. Anyone that's saying that if you don't have the precious metals in your hands, you're wasting your time, well, they're going to waste a lot of your money if you listen to them. What I'm trying to say is you can move a bunch of it tax-free, penalty-free. Then, if you want to pull that out later, feel free. Get it moved first. Do it tax-free, penalty-free first. It's in a trust. It's physical metals. They're yours. It's not like they belong to a bunch of people. They're yours. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. 4 data points. Get them in there. It'll tell you to call. I think you get a free collectible coin. It's worth about $25 right now. It's a Ronald Reagan coin. It's 0.999% pure. It's got Ronald Reagan on the front. Well, it's worth $25 just silver value. It's probably worth more than that because it's got Ronald Reagan on it. Just as a gift for calling within 20 minutes. I think it's 20. DRSlikesgold.com, DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of that system while you can. It'll be kind of you that didn't do it if you don't do it. Donald Trump finally made a public appearance where Elon Musk was, and he broke the fourth wall. That's for sure. Check it out. Who wants to say he got a boner? Come on, you know he did. Come on. That might have been inappropriate, but it's still true. Doesn't matter. Hey, this was Trump Scar put this out. Said if you take $500 from a worker and give $100 to 5 lazy people, you lose 1 vote, but gain 5. It's the biggest pyramid scheme in history, and it's called socialism. Elon Musk. And he knows. He knows what's up. Senator Brooke Collins, she confirms they are definitely deconstructing SNAP. Here's her talking about it.
Hey, I have a handy-dandy chart. I was getting to the affordability piece of SNAP. Almost 40% increase under Joe Biden of what was spent in the people that entered the food stamp/SNAP program. That's 40%, of course, they were working to buy the election. But what we have seen and what Doge and our amazing team at USDA, 186,000 dead people are receiving SNAP benefits. 500,000 people are getting paid twice. We've made hundreds of arrests. We have a lot more to do. But this was, I think, an unintended consequence of the Democrats shutting the government down for 43 days, is it shined this very bright light on one of their pet programs and now has given us a platform to completely deconstruct the program, make sure those vulnerable Americans who really need that benefit are going to get it. And for all the rest of the fraudsters and the people who are corrupt and taking advantage of it, we're going to protect the taxpayer too.
I pray, and we need to. That's for sure. That is for sure. We got to get that cleaned up. This is interesting. Uber Eats and DoorDash drivers in New York City are mostly illegal aliens, apparently, and all of them have Social Security numbers that were easily obtained. Investigators reveal that nearly all Uber Eats and DoorDash drivers are illegal aliens, many receiving Social Security numbers upon applying for asylum at the border. Some who don't qualify reportedly buy Social Security numbers on the black market from other illegal aliens. Delivery hubs near migrant shelters are filled with bikes and mopeds, highlighting how widespread this practice has become and raising serious concerns about the exploitation of the U.S. system and the safety of people using Uber and DoorDash. Those things, right? Uber Eats and DoorDash, which I've never done either. Well, I've done like Domino's, which is pretty close. But I can't imagine paying a bunch of extra money for some stupid amount. I just can't. I can't wrap my head around it. I'll spend stupid money on stupid things, believe it or not, but I'll hop in my car or my bike and go get it. States illegally issued 194,000 commercial driver's licenses to foreign truckers. 194,000 commercial driver's licenses illegally issued without proof that these people can speak English or other issues. So Senator Duffy, we've got a huge problem, by the way. And this is another one of those things. You got someone in your family that's like, I can't get a job, Dad. My humanities major isn't getting me hired anywhere. Dude, tell them to be a truck driver. Tell them to go learn how to wrench on things. Tell them to learn how to do electrical, get into an apprenticeship, plumbing, HVAC, any construction, any of those things. This is going to be the largest industries, hands down, over the next number of years, and none of that stuff's getting replaced by AI. Zero of it. I bet whatever humanities job you can think of, it will definitely be replaced by AI. Get a real job. Learn some real skills. Fuck, sorry you went to school and you owe money. Nah. Go get a real job. Literally. Truck driving kind of tricky, but if you like being alone and hate people and kind of want to do something to make a difference, well, I don't know, there's long haul and there's also short haul. So you got options. You got a family, you can do the short stuff. But you can make good money on the long haul. That's for sure. We've got a electronic mail thing that's going on here. So Pam Bondi and Kirsty Noem there is there is a request for the electronic voter registration stuff. And so a number of states, their AGs, have sent them a letter saying, Dear Attorney Generals Bondi and DHS Secretary Noem, as Secretaries of State, and Chief Election Officials of our respective states, we write to express our immense concern with recent reporting that the Department of Justice has shared voter data with the Department of Homeland Security, and to seek clarity on whether DOJ and DHS actively misled election officials regarding the use of voter data. Each undersigned secretary received a letter from DOJ in recent months seeking statewide voter registration lists. In some cases, that request sought the full, unredacted statewide voter registration list, including registrant's date of birth, state driver's license numbers, and last four digits of Social Security numbers. Given the unprecedented nature and scope of the DOJ's request, we require additional information about how this information will be used, shared, and secured. In 2 recent meetings, yada, yada, yada. Right? So they go into all this nonsense. So they're worried about what it's going to be shared, how it's going to be shared, basically whether or not anybody's going to find out about it. So Arizona, California, Colorado, Maine, Minnesota, Nevada, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont, and Washington. Anyone surprised? Those are the key states that are the most communist, that are the furthest along as far as communism's going to go. Certainly Colorado, certainly Minnesota. I don't know enough about Vermont. Washington State for sure. Oregon for sure. Nevada getting there. Maine for sure. California, damn close, but there's sections of us that hold strong. Yeah, this is not... We're at war, folks. That's all I can say. The vote is the most important thing. Attorney General put this out. We strongly disagree with today's district court ruling on Texas redistricting map. Texas map was drawn the right way for the right reasons. We look forward to the Texas's victory at the Supreme Court. We've also got, oh my God, from the Democrat Michigan Secretary of State. She's blatantly hiding voter data from Trump administration, claiming it's a state secret. But they gave the data to far-left NGOs instead. State secret. That's obviously not going to hold up. I'm not going to play a minute and a half to get there. But yeah. Tina Peters, backing up of the election data before they wiped the systems, gave the public a rare opportunity to analyze before and after the tampering. And it shows clear and deliberate manipulation of the voting system. There's an audit trail deleted. Their system logs have been deleted. Voting files were replaced with new files. The size of the database changed. Now we know why the Democrat judge in her case refused nearly all of her witnesses and excluded virtually all of her defenses, then sentenced her to 9 years in prison, because if this becomes a nationwide story, the entire House of Cards with Dominion could fall. No, will fall. Most important thing we have is the elections. Nothing else really matters as much. I know people don't want that to be, they're going to argue with me. That's fine. So Constellation gets $1 billion loan from the U.S. government's company, Constellation. They're going to restart the one reactor in 3 Mile Island, or one of the reactors. There was one of the reactors is the one that actually went critical in the 70s. Apparently the other 3, they're like, it's the safest place ever. And it's like, yet one of them went super critical. I don't know if that's the safest. You can say that when you've had a supercritical event there. But needless to say, there's apparently 4 reactors based off of how many cooling towers they have. So Plant 2 is the one that had the meltdown. But Unit 1 continued to operate without issues for a decade. It was shut down in 2019. They're going to fire it back up. They're getting $1 billion to get that ball rolling, hoping to get it restarted by 2027. We need a whole bunch of stuff like this. I'm wondering if they're going to do, what was it called? Two boobs. San Onofre. San Onofre had a power station here that they basically shut down. One of them was supposedly leaking a little, maybe both. I don't know if that's the case. I hope they can fix it. But that was a unique design too. It was that concrete. I actually toured that place when I was younger and when I was in high school. It was really cool. Very cool. I learned a lot about nuclear energy. Trump urges unified federal standards for AI over divisive state regulations. I was talking about this when the law first passed. I thought they actually had some stuff in there already, but apparently that got taken out. And I got some shit for it too, by the way, which is fine. That happens a lot of times. It's not easy being ahead of the curve sometimes. But we've got an issue here where, We've got AI standards, and like he says in here, like he wants to put in national rules that basically say kids should be protected for sure. And what was the other side of it? Let's see, if we don't, China will beat us if we don't. I forget what they said. It was with kids and the other. There was one other thing that made sense. But we want to, of course, regulate it from the safety standpoint of us, the consumer. We don't want people to be able to use it to do harm against us, right? There's things that they can put into it as guardrails, but you kind of want AI to be able to be crazy in a sense and be able to do a lot of things. Because if you start regulating it, you start taking away your advantage. Someone else like China will not have those regulations and then use it against you. We know that. So to some degree, you want an AI that's extraordinarily robust. Maybe the version that's used for the public is dumbed way down. That's cool. But the ultimate, the one that we use for military and stuff, I want that to be, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. I mean, again, I don't like the idea of AI per se, but that's the direction we're going. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around it. I don't think it's going to be a Terminator future. I think it's going to be more of a Star Trek future. So I just think it's ultimately, some people are going to live one version of that truth, and some of us are going to live the other. And that's ultimately what it comes down to. What is your choice? Some people are just scared all the time. Tom Homan is going to officially deploy the Deep Blue to New York and start rounding up some illegals.
But New York City, I plan on being in New York City in the near future. We're going to do operations in New York City. We know in New York City, me and Mayor Adams at one point had an agreement to let ICE into Rikers Island so we can arrest the public safety threats and the safety and security of that facility, but the city council shut it down. So we're going to be coming to New York City. We're already there now. I mean, teams are there now. But we will increase the enforcement presence in New York City, again, because they're a sanctuary city, and we know we have an issue there with public safety threats hitting the street every day.
With that answer.
Yeah, Bill. With that answer. Also, 250 border agents are going to deploy to Louisiana for swamp sweep, going after the gators. That's right. Nah, they're actually getting some illegal aliens out of there. And maybe some gators. We'll see. Or just throw them into the... Nah, I'm just kidding. That'd be mean. I'm kidding. I've got to have some fun every once in a while. Come on, people. Judge bans male inmates in federal women's prison for female-only privacy area, certain housing. This is a weird story, and I'm not sure why they're going this direction. I feel like they could have done a better job kind of being fair to the concept. So we've got two different district courts that are getting involved with the idea of having men and women's prisons. So the first district court basically said there's a stay and you can't do anything, you can't enforce the stuff, like all this, right? And then a second court came out and said, hey, you can't let any more men into that women's prison. And the Department of Justice is basically like, well, you didn't necessarily go down the proper paths to get to this point yet, is the one thing I saw in here. But the problem is they've got two different courts that are opposing each other. And so the DOJ is like, all right, you guys decide. We can't do both. Again, district courts are now fighting with each other. They don't care. Nobody cares. It's awesome. So again, I don't think it's the DOJ that's like against the idea of not having. I mean, Trump's already come out and said no men in women's sports. Obviously, he's going to be no men in women's prisons. That's for sure. So again, people are spinning that in a weird way. I don't know why just the news is, but maybe it's just because sensationalism works. Whatever. Whistleblowers accuse New Jersey, Oregon group of coerced harvesting and safety violations. Literally people that weren't dead yet. They're not dead yet. And yet still wanted to take their organs. We just got evil people running around. There's a lot of evil, not that many. I mean, you'd be surprised how few evil people there are, but I know a few of them. Jordan refers former Jack Smith's attorney for prosecution. Well, hopefully that continues to move forward, but they did make this criminal referral for his top prosecutor on the team of special counsel, arguing that he refused to answer a bunch of stuff, took the fifth in places where they couldn't really justify why he was taking the fifth. James Comey indictment wasn't seen by full grand jury. Trump's handpicked prosecutor Lindsay Halligan shockingly admits. This case, I don't know. Part of me wonders if we rushed it, and we rushed it because we had to, because everybody was making so much noise. Someone get arrested, arrest somebody. And so maybe they, Comey's like, nah, like he's small potatoes, but they wanted to go for it. Or maybe he's just the start of the conspiracy. I don't know. I think they need to get more out there, but if all of our cases are kind of hodgepodge like this one, I don't know. I don't know I'm curious to see how this plays out, because the way it's getting spun definitely makes it sound like our side did a piss poor job putting this case together and might have cut some weird corners. Again, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see if they literally let Comey drop the charges. I don't think they will. They're trying to say that it's gone too long, right? What is it when you the statute of limitations has expired? But I don't know. Like, it might depend on when the last thing happened that he did, and some might be able to argue that, well, his lies, but he's done. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to try to speculate, because that's a weird case right now. I don't know. It's gone back and forth, kind of, but it's not being painted well. I don't know the facts that, I mean, maybe they're being tight-lipped on our side of the fence, and that's why the other side's able to run free. We'll see. Again, we'll see what the actions are. Hopefully this judge doesn't drop it. Maybe that's part of the whole plan. I don't know. We'll see. Pelosi crime family, by the way. Paul Pelosi Jr., the son of Nancy Pelosi, this gentleman here who looks oddly like it's that famous actor, right? The brother. I forget the guy that was in Idiocracy. That guy. Doesn't that look like him? I forget his name, but that looks like him, I think. That's so funny. Anyway, Paul Pelosi Jr., the son of Nancy Pelosi, has been linked to at least 5 business entities under investigation by authorities for alleged fraud. There were some Ukraine ones tied in with Hunter Biden, too, by the way. So they're looking into him. Let's see. I don't know. He hired. Yeah, I don't want to get into all the details. He's making money, of course. So hopefully that stuff's coming to the forefront. Chairman Rep. James Comer has launched an investigation into Soros-linked groups' reported secretive chorus program and their efforts to evade campaign finance laws. This wasn't activism. It was covert election interference. So how this is working, this is pretty brilliant, actually, in my opinion. What they're doing is they're using dark money to pay for content creators to essentially give praise to certain candidates. And these individuals are getting money and getting paid through these dark funds to essentially give power to certain names. It's interesting. It's a neat way to go. I mean, it's maybe technically illegal if that's the point of it, but they're going to have a hard time proving this. I don't know. I mean, we'll see. Again, I feel like there's a whole bunch of shit I don't know about today, because there's so many little weird, like that's a week kind of, but whatever. Pennsylvania school district using AI-enabled Wi-Fi to search students for firearms. This is kind of a weird catch-22, isn't it? Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Literally scanning students with their Wi-Fi, and they would be able to detect if there was a weapon on the student, because it would reflect the Wi-Fi differently. The AI is able to see that. Just the fact they're scanning our kids like that. But do you want that one weird kid that's not on his meds that day to bring his dad's gun to school? Catch-22. Very interesting. Judge Boasberg. Oh, you know him. The one that's about to be impeached. Yeah, he did a ruling now about Zuckerberg's Meta and says they don't have a monopoly power in social media. Boasberg's such a deep state judge. This is, in my opinion, this is sort of proof. They're talking about Instagram and WhatsApp. I think WhatsApp, they've definitely got some kind of thing going on, but it's only because no other company's really doing it. Like, I think X could offer something similar, but I know, like, my girlfriend uses that to contact her people in the Philippines. She talks to them for free through Facebook. I don't. I haven't logged into my Facebook in forever. And it's awesome, and it feels so refreshing. I dislike Facebook with so much. It's up there with TikTok, but TikTok I probably dislike less than Facebook. Yeah, all said. I don't believe this for a second. So Boasberg, one more strike against you, my friend. My friend. A lot of people are talking about the 50-year mortgages and how this is just horrible that Trump's offering this. Obviously, it's a failure on Trump's side, because if he has to do 50-year mortgages, then what have you done to fix anything, Trump? I think 7-year car loans came out a while ago. You guys remember that? That's ridiculous. I think they've even got them going up to 10 years at this point. That's stupid. No one's talking about that. Here's the thing. If you get a 7-year car loan, it's the only way you could afford to get that car, right? It's not the best idea. If you can refi it at some point because you're somehow able to, cool. If not, you better plan on hanging on to that car for 5-6 years and you better take care of it. Same goes with a house. If you can't get a 30-year loan, then a 50-year mortgage, at least you can buy a house. You can always refi if you get to a point where you're doing better, but this is an opportunity to get into a market and actually own an asset. And instead of paying rent to somebody else, now you're paying a mortgage and you can write off a chunk, if not all, of the interest. And if you get a fixed rate, your house payment, minus like any association dues and crap like that, but your house payment will not change for 50 years, ostensibly. So again, is it a great idea? No. 7-year car loan's a horrible idea. Leasing a car is a stupid idea. No offense if you lease them, but you have zero equity. You don't get anything. You're just renting a car. You've got nothing to show for it. Nothing. You might as well buy a car. If you're doing it through business and CapEx it over 4 years, then get rid of it. Whatever. I don't care. But it's a stupid idea to lease. Whatever. There's a lot of things we do. So again, I think it's really weird how they're using this 50-year mortgage. It's a sign of the times. Our economy sucks. At least Trump is getting a bunch of money pumped into this economy. And it hasn't happened yet. I know. Everyone keeps saying that too. It's cracking me up. Yeah, but he's at least got $21 trillion lined up. No one's ever had any trillions lined up. Unless it was China buying our land next to bases. Biden, you bastard. And the other super blue states. So again, I just think this is weird how a lot of these things are being played out right now. And essentially the way people are talking about them, for that matter. I got to tell you guys, I love Healthy Home. I love them. I love them. I love them. It's one of my favorite products right here. STEM Active. It is incredible. Granted, it doesn't help because I got my light and it just reflects on it. As we age, our stem cell production decreases. This helps increase your stem cells using plant-based ingredients. It increases your stem cells 25 to 40% within minutes of taking the product. There's a gel. There is a pill. I like the pills, frankly. It's easier for me. All said, both are two different ways you can go about the same thing. They help get more stem cells in your body. That's healing in your body. Stem cells can become any cell in the body. This is how, like I had a shoulder injury. Dislocated when it was younger. It was hurting when I was working out. Started taking the STEM Active. I don't know, it was probably 3 weeks or so. And one day I was working out and I'm like, holy crap, it doesn't hurt anymore. STEM Active majorly helps. You got healing that's going on anywhere in your body. It helps. If you're aging, you ever notice how people just suddenly, it seems like age caught them and they just start to deteriorate from that point? For men, it goes quick. For women, it takes longer. But it is that lack of stem cells. The oxidation process is overwhelming your healing process, and it starts to win. Don't let it. Get your stem cells kicked up. Kick that in the patootie. Give yourself a better chance. Balance is awesome. Ladies, if you're going through that hormonal change that happens, or ladies going into the baby-making years, you're either going into or leaving. Both ways. Talked to a couple ladies that were very, very honest and open about what they've been going through. And both of them were on, what are they called, SREs or whatever? I don't know. The synthetic hormones that a lot of times they put women on when that change starts to happen. They were taking the balance. One lady liked the synthetic hormones and was taking the balance. And she said the second she started using the balance, it just filled in all the missing little gaps and grooves and everything was perfect. The other lady didn't like the synthetic hormones, started taking the balance, and it worked for her. This is one of those things that's helping women find sleep again, their temperature not getting all crazy again, being able to kind of handle a conversation with someone without frickin' jumping through the roof because you're just out of control right now. It's not your fault. You're going through a hormonal imbalance process. I'm not going to pretend to understand it, but I do kind of get the gist of it, if you will. Balance is bringing balance back to your life. It's helping relationships. It's helping all the sleeping, the temperature. It's helping your moods. It's helping. Huge. Making a big difference. They talk about how many clicks you need. A lot of people start with 3 clicks. It's a lotion, transdermal. So you just put it on your wrist and you rub your wrists together and bada bing, bada boom. Some people use 2 clicks. Some people need 1 click. Balance is one of those things you can kind of control. I think if you're doing 3 clicks a day, you're going to blow through this balance in about a month. If you're using less, it can last a little longer, So it's up to you. You kind of control it a little bit, which is pretty cool. Amaze, Well, it'll amaze you, but it's not quite that simple as far as how long it lasts. You get 15 packets. You're actually going to need 2 of these to get through a month. But it is the best. Collagen, most important protein in the body. You've got it in your skin, your sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, fingernails. All these things collagen can help with. And it's in a peptide formula. Peptides are the smallest little molecules, so they absorb. It's like colloidal. You guys heard of that? Where it's ground up so fine it actually absorbs easier. Peptides are that when it comes to proteins and stuff like that. It's a teeny tiny little version of that protein, and it absorbs immediately into the body. And you will notice with your skin and your hair, people will be like, why do you look younger? What's going on with you? You will notice. And it's delicious, by the way. It's definitely my favorite tasting thing of all the products they have. Prime is really yummy. Amaze is the best. It's like that I would love to mix with vodka somehow. That flavor with vodka would be a bitchin' drink. It'd be like a martini of some kind. It'd be yummy. Maybe a couple olives. I don't know. I stir it around a little bit. Shake it, not stir it. That depends how I feel. It'd be yummy, though. And good for the hair. I should try that, actually. Anyway, that's crazy talk. Prime. It doesn't say anywhere on there, please mix with vodka. But, you know, sometimes you're creative. Prime causes more oxygen to get into your blood. It is a nitric oxide booster. That's what it does. It oxygenates your blood or gets more oxygen in your blood, which is more energy. That's literally what it does. It's a powder. It's delicious, too. And you just put it on your tongue, and it dissolves very quickly. And boom. There's no sugar, though there is a sweetness. I'm sure they do it with like sucralose or something like that. But it's very, very good. Mixed berry flavored. Gets you energy all over the place. And STEM Active for your pets. Same thing that applies up here for you. It's about half the price is what we pay for ourselves. And it's a chewable tablet that your pet can enjoy. So help them not get beat up by aging. It's a great way to add some extra time to your lovely ones and help them kind of stay good, especially if they've had surgeries and stuff like that. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Once again, that's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Hit the shop tab. If you're doing it on your phone, I think there's 3 buttons, maybe the three lines over here. Hit that. It'll pop out your side menu, and you'll see all this crap. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. There we go. All right, here. Oh, this is just beautiful. England, we're all worried about you. Here's Piers Morgan. He probably can't say anything. I like how it says uncensored, but at the same time, he's in England, I believe, so he's not really uncensored. He's very censored, heavily censored, super censored, in fact. But here's Jordan Peterson kind of feeling bad for him, and I kind of like it.
I don't know if you guys in the UK understand how sad it is for us in Canada and in the United States to watch what you're doing to yourself. I mean, the UK is a great country. When I go there, I go to Oxford, I go to Cambridge, to these remarkable places in London, see your unbelievable deep history, understand how much the world owes the UK in terms of, say, the establishment of common law and decent government everywhere, including places like India. We owe the UK such an immense debt. And to watch you guys like spiral yourselves into the ground for this idiot, weak political correctness that's gone so far that you can allow your working class women to be raped en masse sadistically and say nothing about it and gaslight people who are telling the truth. It's so sickening. It's so demoralizing. It's almost unspeakable. We all pray, hope and pray here in Canada and the US that you get your act together and grow some spine again and put your damn country back together and stand up to these bloody psychopathic bullies and the woke green mob, because it would be a dreadful shame to lose you.
I love it. And Pierce, of course, can't say anything because he'll end up in jail. They'll literally arrest him on site. It's fantastic. South Korea ferry carrying around 270 people runs aground. And I don't mean some gay guy running around in South Korea. I'm talking about an actual car ferry or one of them car transport things, right? 270 people runs aground. Not cool. They hit rocks like in a place where they normally go. It's not like it was like crazy weather either, it sounds like. So I don't know if this is like the captain was drunk or what, but 270 people, a couple got injured, nobody died, they got everybody off, 20 different vessels and a plane somehow used to get people off the ferry because he ran into rocks. It's so strange to me that he ran into rocks, all said. What is this? This is the, NOTAM, what does that stand for again? That basically people can't go through there. It was in there. I thought the original article I was reading talked about, or at least showed what NOTAM stands for. I don't remember. But anyway, The United States warns of a potentially dangerous situation in the San Juan FIR and requests extreme caution due to an increase in state operations. So this is an FAA thing. Now, I will say, and by the way, I almost didn't play this because I thought this was bullshit. I'm like, what? A Harrier? We don't have Harriers on the Ronald Reagan. Then I actually paid attention and realized, oh, it says this is from the Iwo Jima. And then I'm like, oh, is that like one of them little weird skinny carriers? And I looked it up, and yeah, it's exactly what it is. One of them stupid little skinny carriers. And they, yes, do have Harriers. So whatever. This is kind of gay. No offense. I mean, this is not something that I think is scaring anybody anywhere. But they did some practice stuff. This might have had to do with the NOTAM. I'm not 100% sure. But again, not addressed. Oh my God. Really? We're trying to scare everybody with that. Oh, yeah, we'll get you. Huh. We will drop bombs on your water and make noise and stuff. Some smoke. Kind of stupid. And it's a Harrier. Fuck, man. An F-14 would be more impressive. And those are so out of date and not even cool anymore. And like kind of horrible in a lot of ways. Kind of. Still awesome. Still awesome. Top Gun did a good job there. Saudi Crown Prince pledged to raise U.S. investment to nearly $1 trillion. Was $600 million. Or billion, sorry. $600 billion. He's kicked it up a notch. And Trump talks about that. We're not going to play the whole thing. That would be crazy. But yeah, he's given even more money. Donald Trump, he talked about something pretty serious with Saudi Arabia here. This is very profound.
That we're taking our military cooperation to even greater heights by formally designating Saudi Arabia as a major non-NATO ally, which is something that is very important to them. And I'm just telling you now for the first time because I wanted to keep a little secret for tonight. I just heard him say, oh, that's nice. That's another point you won today. And signing a historic strategic defense agreement, which we just signed a little while ago. So congratulations. It's out there.
Basically, we got Saudi Arabia's butt. We got you. We're in an alignment, non-NATO, though. Fuck NATO is basically where Trump's at. Trump is creating a new we're creating a new version of NATO that's not going to involve a lot of the other bureaucrats that exist out there. I think we're probably going to some degree, pull out of NATO, and I think Trump's kind of warned him. He's like, look, here's the thing. You got like 3 years, and we're out. We don't want to be a part of this. This is your guys' problem, and you guys keep doing stupid shit. We don't want to be a part of it. We don't want to have someone's back. It's kind of like having that friend. He's your best buddy. But every time you go to the bar and start drinking, he always has to get in someone's face and start a fight. And you're like, dude, I don't want to go to the bar anymore with you. Why, man? Because I always end up having to have your back, and you're an idiot. Can't we just have drinks and not start a friggin' fight? So, yeah, we got people like NATO that we're like, it's not working, man. So we'll probably have this new non-NATO NATO. NATO's nation top general tells population to prepare for attack. I thought this was just bullshit. Kind of, they're always talking stuff like this. But, secretly I was wondering, I'm like, are they trying to plan something? Yeah. 2 different things they've done so far. That it's not going to work. This is the best one. So there was a rail sabotage that they found before it actually caused any harm. The best part, it was 2 Ukrainians. But, yeah, they were working for Russia, they say. 2 Ukrainians did the sabotage, but supposedly they're working for Russia. Maybe, but it does seem weird that it's 2 Ukrainians, and, well, they're notorious, and you and Poland are notorious for trying to start World War III. England, another one. Did I mention England? UK military options ready after Russian ship incident. First off, I'm going to point out one thing. This helicopter that was British, that was flying close to this Russian ship in international waters, was likely too close to the Russian ship. The Russian ship probably said, hey, look, you're not allowed to be that close. The dude could have a torpedo or something. No. We don't trust you. First off, get away from our ship or we will do actions. UK being the UK, no offense to my British friends, but you guys are like this sometimes. They'd be like, hey, fuck you, mate. We're going to do it anyway. They wouldn't necessarily say it like that. It sounds more like an Australian possibly, but it's a mixture. There's a Kiwi, I had a Kiwi mother and a British Australian father. Figure that one out. Right? I was very confused how I talked. But England's in there with their helicopters. So Russia lasers them. And now they're like, we need to go to World War III, basically. I'm going to let my lovely Alice Tang tell us all about it.
Blinded by lasers, Britain says the Russian spy ship Yatar directed lasers at British pilots sent to monitor it. The UK's Defence Minister John Healey said military operations and options are ready if the ship becomes a threat. The ship is designed for intelligence gathering and mapping undersea cables. It is currently on the edge of British waters north of Scotland. Healey says it's the first time the Yantar has taken such action against its Air Force. The defense minister says he has changed the Navy's rules of engagement so they can follow the activities of the ship more closely.
Good stuff, right? And again, who cares what he has to say? I just wanted to hear her talk. But, by the way, I'm just going to make sure she never wears this jacket again. That looks lovely. That's a great color on you, maroon and white. Very lovely, Alice. Alice Tang. She'll probably never wear it again. She won't wear that eyeshadow anymore. So I'm gonna see what else I can get her to stop wearing. Anyway, sorry. Golden toilet corruption scheme rocks Ukraine. Support for Zelensky is plunged below 20%. Yeah, nobody likes this dude. Dude had a gold toilet, which Trump's probably even jealous. It's like, damn. I mean, I've got gold toilets too, but damn. That's like, I don't know. That's so like too much for me, man. I don't know. Maybe that's just a little bit simplistic. A little bit. Anyway, whatever. Ukrainian energy minister is dismissed as this corruption fallout expands. Parliament voted to fire Svetlana Grinchuk shortly after approving the dismissal of their justice minister. So they've gotten rid of two people because of corruption. This corruption thing that's happening, this was the thing that Trump was trying to keep going, and they impeached him for it. You guys remember that? Back in his first term? And then Russia invaded after, and during Biden's term. It all makes sense now, right? Trump was going to put a stop to this. Trump saw what was happening. He was trying to stop it. Couldn't, though. Russia feels it's being heard, finally. Trump advancing secret 28-point plan to end the Ukraine war. And Russia actually acknowledges in here that they feel like they're being heard. They're happy with it. Now, Ukraine's pissed off because they're not being talked to. They're not involved in this at all yet. And so Ukraine's like, we're pissed. You're not talking to us. It's like, well, yeah, no, we're not going to talk to you because you'd immediately go to Europe and immediately try to find a way to stop it. Zelensky wants to keep his fake government going. Zelensky wants to keep money rolling into his pockets. Deep state needs the war to continue, or else they're done in Europe, especially the European Union's toast if this war stops. They've got a huge problem. Huge problem. And the corruption is continuing to crash around them. Oh, such fun. So, what does Zelensky do? He runs out to Turkey, which is where President Trump and we've got Witkoff, Zelensky, and Erdogan are going to meet in Turkey this coming this weekend, close, soon, whatever. I don't know if they have the date in here. Wednesday. Oh, to talk. So now he's out there. He wasn't necessarily invited per se, but he's out there. We'll see what happens. You know, he's begging. He's like, no, I'm not giving up any land. It's like, yes, you are. You are definitely going to give up land, or you're going to lose more land. Watch. So Zelensky, here's your thoughts. Here's your choice. Do this. You've already lost chunks of land. That's going to stay with Russia. You don't like this idea? Okay. We'll talk to you again in a month. We'll see how much more land you lose. Maybe he makes it all the way to Kyiv. Okay. Have a good day, Zelensky. There's the door. Don't let it hit you in the ass. The big boys are going to talk in the meantime, which is probably how this is going to go. I don't know if they want to tell him either because he's going to run to Europe. Watch. He's going to run to London or something right after this. Watch. And again, we already had Poland and England trying to escalate this war. Now, again, it's the deep state. I'm not saying it's Poland. I'm not saying it's English people, right? It's not that. It's the deep state. Got to make sure I even follow my own rules on that. Washington man severely ill, with some new unpredictable virus never seen in humans. It is new virus, the H5N5 killer ninja virus. Be scared, be very, very scared. Run around and be scared. By the way, you should get twc.health/OTF. And that was not really intentional, but have some ivermectins. I just took some of these today just to make sure that the infection's definitely not coming back. The little bit of cough has been tricky to get rid of, but all said, made a lot of progress. I don't think I sound as bad. I'm still a little nasally. Still a little bit. Not totally done with it. AG Pam Bondi said, we're unsealing new indictment charges this wedding character, by the way. I'll play this first. Oops. Where's Canadian snowboarder turned drug kingpin Ryan Wedding ordered a hit on a witness that was set to testify, is what the Attorney General is saying. She's got a slightly shorter thing here. I'm talking about it. You guys might be following this. I was kind of going to ignore it because I don't know. But I don't know, in case it matters to you.
Today we're unsealing a new indictment, charging Wedding with 2 additional counts of witness tampering and intimidation, murder, money laundering, and drug trafficking. The website that was used to hunt down this witness and his wife, that has since been removed. That has been deleted. Protecting federal witnesses from retaliation is core to the department's mission. It's about individual safety, but more, it's about protecting the rule of law itself. The new indictment also includes several other individuals involved in the murder of the witness and other crimes in connection with this criminal enterprise. You're going to be hearing more about that from the people behind me. We're working very closely with our partners at the State Department and the Department of Treasury. The State Department has raised the reward for Ryan Wedding from $10 million to $15 million. We're offering $2 million rewards for information leading to the arrest of those involved in the murder of the witness.
It is interesting, too, for me right now to see how many people are actually attacking her and him. These two need to be fired. Even Juanold Olsaven was saying that. Which, again, careful, Juanold. Seriously. Go too far over the edge, you're going to end up like Marjorie Taylor Greene. I get you're Mr. Big Guy. I get you. But you won't survive it if you go straying too far. I just listened to a whole thing, and he was on this panel, and all of them just started hammering into these two. It was like, wow. Is that where you guys are at right now? All because of Tina Peters specifically. Which is kind of fucked up also, because that's a state thing to a large extent. That's, man, damn, dude. Like, I get it. Like, that's his buddy, and I get he feels really bad for her, and he probably swore he'd do everything he could. I feel like he's going about it in a weird way. Volcano erupts, sending ash over 6,500 feet into the air, threatening air traffic in Indonesia. This one's pretty big, crazy one here. Check this out.
Semoga selalu aman dali terus, Lur.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Sometimes. Dude, look at that. You're fucked. That's called a pyroclastic flow.
Semoga aman dali terus,
Yeah, these people are, I don't know if they live through this.
Tetap waspada, Lur.
Wow.
Sudah mau melewati jembatan Gada Perak, Lur. Yang di bawah hati-hati.
That's not something you want to see coming your way, man. That is not something you want coming your way. Dude, these people in Indonesia are crazy. They're just like, with volcanoes, it's like us in California with earthquakes. It's only a 6.2. Get out of here. That's not. Fuck. Should definitely not be there. You're not going to be able to walk away from that. Oh, Lord have mercy. This is like in the South, right? This is probably appropriate. Bless your soul, right? Like, bless your heart at this point. Because good God Almighty. Yeah, shut yourself up, Dan. Poor Asian girl died. Very sad. Yeah, I actually looked at the story mainly because she was a hot Asian girl. I was like, what happened to her? That's not fair. Here's Stephen Smith talking about what happened on ESPN. We mentioned the story yesterday. I don't know. I got some sports fans out there. I don't normally cover sports, don't normally care. But I like this guy. He's probably going to run for president, and he's big in the entertainment world. Anyway, here's Stephen Smith talking about it. Thought it was kind of cool.
The New York Post is out with an article about me, and apparently it's like breaking news or something like that. Stephen A. Smith is not on NBA Countdown. I'm kind of disappointed because that means, somebody's not watching me, and I'm used to everybody watching me. I negotiated a new deal with ESPN, a new 5-year deal. That deal was negotiated between June of 2024 and March into April of 2025. I didn't want to be on the show. I negotiated coming off of it. Now, I love doing NBA Countdown, but once the Countdown show is over, I got other things to do than to be in studio watching the doubleheader and coming on at halftimes. I got other stuff that I want to do to prepare for First Take the next day, the next morning, and to do an abundance of other things that I aspire to do. Of course, I'm still there to contribute. You see me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm on Monday Night Countdown for the NFL. I've been on there twice. I'll be on there a third time when the Eagles visit the Los Angeles Chargers in December, and hopefully there'll be more games. I wish I was doing every Monday Night Countdown when they're on the road because I love going to road games during football season. Doesn't bother me at all, but that's not my call. As it pertains to the NBA, I've been doing the NBA for 30 years. Inside the NBA crew, which is clearly the A team, with Barkley, Kenny Smith, Shaq, Ernie Johnson, they don't need me, but if they ever wanted me in Atlanta, I'd be there. Kendrick Perkins is my brother. Malika Andrews is fabulous. Mike Malone is great, too. Worked with him during the Western Conference Finals. And my man Brian Windhorst is just exceptional. But if they need me in L.A. for NBA Countdown, I'll be there. Matter of fact, I have days in my contract to be there. I just don't have to be there full time because I have a radio show right here that I'm doing now, SiriusXM Mad Dog Sports Radio, every weekday from 1 to 3 p.m. Every weekday. That didn't exist last year. I have a political show on SiriusXM POTUS Radio, channel 124, every Wednesday night. That didn't exist. I have a production company with scripted and unscripted content and game shows and things of that nature that I'm in the process of producing. That wasn't in place last year. I have other things to do. So why the New York Post will go out there and act like there's reporting something new that has long been established months ago is beyond me. But it is their entitlement.
I mean, you guys that care. And then final story. This one, I don't know. This might bother one of you. I thought of Nana. Nana, I'm sorry. I drink this creamer too. This bothered me. And sometimes it's good to know what's in the stuff we like and drink.
Do you know what's actually in this coffee creamer that you're drinking every morning? This is the #1 selling coffee creamer in the US, but what is actually in it? Let's find out. For ingredients, we have water, 315 grams of sugar, canola and soybean oil, micellar, casein, mono and diglycerides, natural and artificial flavors, cellulose gum, dipotassium phosphate, last but not least, carrageenan. They market this as non-dairy, cholesterol-free, and gluten-free, which is technically true, but calling it a creamer is maybe a bit of a stretch. If I was to rename it to what it actually is, I would probably call it sugary oil water with added preservatives and essence of cream. Yum.
Yeah, I'm pouring that on some coffee right now. Yeah. I think it's when I found out how they made mayonnaise that I had a really hard time eating it. I'm just like, oh, really? Is that what they do? Ugh. Or Miracle Whip, or the vegetable version of that spread. Whatever. Sometimes you shouldn't know how the sausage is made. But sometimes, if you want to stop eating nasty sausage, it's good to know. We're in a weird world right now, folks, where we're learning how the sausage is made and has been made for a very long time. And a lot of us are waking up to the fact that, man, I don't want to eat that sausage anymore. Now, again, I hate the fact that I'm using sausage as a metaphor because I love sausage a lot. Like, I'll eat it again and again. I just won't see how it's made. I've ground my own. Well, I've ground my own beef. They're actually made sausage, to be honest with you. It's tricky, but I got a brand I like, and I don't want to know how I don't want to know how many mice get ground up. I don't even want to know how many fingers got ground up in it. I don't care. But we're learning, folks. And some of us, like me, don't necessarily want to see how the sausage is made. but maybe need to. We got a lot we're going through, guys. I love you. Do your parts the best you can. Doesn't matter. If I criticize and step on toes today, I apologize. I didn't mean to, but again, we're going through crazy times, and I feel like there's just certain things I'm here to help with. There's some stuff I'm very aware of, and some stuff I just kind of take it day by day. But whatever the case is, I love you guys. I'm trying my best. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.